Oh, good evening, everybody. Apologies. I am running a little behind on schedule. I just really wanted to make sure I got the form finished before I started. Yes, hope everyone is doing good on this fine evening. Just finishing getting things set up. And then we should be ready to go. You need to just... Okay. I got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. Okay, content, cars. I do need to download some extra skins. I will sort that out in a minute. I actually have a little bit of a cheeky plan. Hey, Ramon, final season? Yes and no. Tis a little... It's the final SRS season, but it's not necessarily the final ever. I at least still fully intend to keep going, and if you want to contribute to the future of that, check the link that's pinned. If anything, that's the thing I care about the most tonight. I mean, hopefully we have some good fun racing, but that's definitely the bit I care about the most, is being able to get a start down on defining the sort of future of where we're going. I'm hoping this works. This is a really terrible idea. But yeah, I'm just kind of quickly scrambling to get everything ready. So bear with me. Estonia-21 at Bulls. I can't remember. Okay, so it's some circuit. And then the Fiesta WRC. I believe that's at Riverside. Riverside Short. The Estonia is a... I want to say Topoznan. It is Topoznan. I was right. Should have gone with my gut. Okay, cool. There we go. Speedrunning getting this shit set up. But, yeah, no, as has been discussed a little bit, this is the final season of SRS, probably ever. I wouldn't fully rule out a comeback, but I think in its current guise, this is it. This is the end. It's been a great run. I mean, from both what Enrique was able to achieve with the platform throughout its highs to and even in its twilight years, you know, me being able to step up and become an actual involved part in this. Something that I've been very appreciative of. Aha, I can. Okay, this is a little cheeky. But yeah, we all kind of decided that it was about time to finish it, wrap things up, and it was the right thing to do. But yeah, it does basically put me in the situation of what now, or what next, really. And ideally, I want to start getting that sorted as quickly as possible. Hence why, again, check the pin link in the description. Go and fill that out. I want as many responses to that as I can humanly get. Whether you take part in the races or not, doesn't matter. Whether you have but haven't in a long while, doesn't matter. Want everyone. If this doesn't get a good take-up, we're basically just, nothing's gonna happen. This will be it. That sounds dramatic, but it kind of is. If you want this to continue beyond SRS, fill out that form. Shit, I've completely forgotten what car I was even doing. Oh, the Estonia. Right. That's not the Estonia. Right, so I've done a little bit of a cheeky here. And, I've seen some people have gone and made some really nice liveries to sort of commemorate the final season. And I kind of wanted to do something similar. But I haven't really had the time to do it. Which is the problem. So what I've done... is just created a blank livery. And I'll go and make a proper one later down the line. I might go put some, like, files in here so that we actually are not just driving around in a white car, I don't know. But once I actually do get the livery sorted, then when we look back on the replays, it'll look the same. Look, as if I'd done it from the start. Genius. What was I trying to do? Oh, right. I wanted to... I have a couple of liveries I want to install. I don't have any for the Estonia... Any new ones. I did install a couple last night. I don't think I have any new ones at the moment. It's just the couple of new Fiesta liveries. So I guess I could have done them after this race, but I'm going to do it before. Because I'm a fool. Okay. Just get all this foldering and stuff out of the way. Cool. We are good. This is a fixed setup series, therefore we don't need that. Right, yeah, I accidentally made this fall out of place the other day, so I gotta spend... That seems about right. It was way easier than I thought it would be. Should make sure I am registered for the race as well. Yep, my name is there. Cool. I think we're all good. There's a total mess of me jumping around a bunch of different places. But I think we can actually finally start driving. I do apologize if I sound a little off as well. I've had a little bit of a cold the past few days, but it's nothing bad. Ugh. Form handled by me alone? Yes. Yes. I was meant to put out I can't English. I was hoping I could have gotten it out yesterday, along with like an accompanying video, but I didn't. So, but yeah, it's all handled by me. This is to decide my future. It may ask you to sign in because I ticked the like limit to 1 response thing on Google. I don't collect anyone's data. You could there's no dedicated form to put your name in or anything, so these responses are anonymous. You can make yourself known if you want. That's ultimately down to you. I tried to make sure, I think every section has like a comments box, so you can, if you feel the questions don't address certain things, you can put in your own comments and questions and stuff and feedback that I can I'll likely take. I will put out that video still, that I'll kind of explain this in a little more detail and hopefully get a little bit more outreach on the form after this stream, probably tomorrow. I'll record it tomorrow and get it up, just to give the live stream a little more time to simmer. But yeah, this is all on me at the moment. Like, as things stand, my future beyond the SRS will be largely independent. But obviously, you know, with the community, because I can't do this without the community, and that's why the form exists, is to essentially get community backing and allow the community to give their ideas. How things actually end up panning out could be completely different to what we decide on in that form, or what that form comes out with. It all depends on how things go. But yeah, the main thing is I just want people's feedback. Probably make it a little more obvious. As I said, that's kind of the main thing I want. I think the server should be up for the race, though. It is. Okay, cool. Oh, excuse me. I feel like I had some extra text. I don't, so I can just use this. Quite long, but works out. Actually, that's gonna get in the way of the UI, isn't it? I guess it's a little winded. You know, I'll just please check the pinned comment. There we go. Get that out of here. We want to do a little bit of racing. Oh. Whoopsie. Oh well. It was meant to be fixed, but oops. Seems like the fix wasn't set up properly. So we'll have to report that back. But yeah, I guess just to kind of pick things up from the top. So yeah, please do take the time to check out the pinned comment at the top of chat. That will take you to a form. That form is handled by me, and basically has a slew of questions regarding the future of these races beyond SRS. And you know, it's ultimately going to be down to that form is going to shape how, if and how we continue. If, you know, I want everyone to take a look at it. If they have any vested interest at all in the races, whether you race, whether you don't, doesn't matter. I want as much feedback as possible. I mean, the first question is literally, do you race? Do you take part in the races or not? Because if you don't, then I potentially also want to know why. Not to interrogate or anything, but, like, you know, if there is a valid reason why, and we can change that. Or if the fact that it was on SRS was the reason why, who knows? Then, like, you know, that's something we can change. Well, it will change, but, you know, other things can change that, you know, could make things more accessible. And that's ultimately the goal. You know, I'd like to keep this going, but, you know, it requires the community to agree. And so this is going to be the main outlet for the community. Obviously, you can still reach out to me on Discord or YouTube chat or wherever. Literally anywhere you can find me. Albeit Discord and YouTube chat probably are the best ones to find me. With, you know, for any other questions or queries about anything, or feedback, or whatever, anything. But all will be taken into consideration, but the form is kind of the main bolster of this. Will I go over the replies at the end of the stream? I might skim through them and see if there's anything worth bringing up or responding to. But I might let it simmer for a week or two before I properly discuss the replies. Shit, that's a cut track. No. I did forget about qualifying. Well. Like, there's no doubt some things I missed in that form, because there's a lot of details to flesh out, and I kind of just plucked whatever I could think of out of my head at the time. And that was what I could best come up with then to fill it out. But I think I cover all the really important bases. The stuff that's missed, I think, is smaller details. Smaller details that we could address at a later date, like qualifying and practice times and whatnot. Like, those are smaller things. The bigger things I want to hit at here are the more larger and systemic things. And those are things that I made sure to include. Copy and paste from the SRS YouTubers chat. Fair enough. But yeah, it's something that obviously something we've been talking about on and off for like months now. But obviously now the SRS is closing, or will be coming to an end. Um, you know, it's like there is no choice anymore. It is figure something else out or give up. And this is effectively what will determine whether or not we do continue and how we go about continuing, at least initially. You know, no doubt things will continue to evolve and change over time as we figure things out and whatnot. This is just to set a baseline. That we can then work from. Plus 2 seconds. Are they running setups? No, you can necessarily be that much faster. I was tempted to make this an open setup series, but man, I'll keep it fixed. Stick with the ethos till the end. I do love my feedback forms. Yeah, I do. But and jokingly, yeah, I do. But in all seriousness, I think they are. And I found them a pretty valuable tool throughout the years to help aggregate and coordinate things with the community. I mean, my friends will tell you the same thing. Even in my like friend groups and whatnot, I have I have leveraged the form a fair few times, the good old trusty form. But yeah, the but yeah, I am like 30 seconds off, and I don't think I'm doing anything crazy wrong here. Pretty certain these guys are running setups. But you know, like, yeah, I think sometimes, like, I can ask people all the questions I want, but I think it's the best. Forums are like a great way to really concentrate in on a series of questions to get a response from people on a specific topic. Otherwise, I'd be having to deal with loads of, like, disparate notes everywhere. It'd be really hard to keep track of and whatnot. But this gives me clear cut, sort of, place where I can be like, oh yeah, there's feedback. I don't know if I'm just driving shit or if they're using setups. I don't think my driving would be that shit, though. I think a good way forward is to somehow piggyback with another series, so us as our... Well, I guess I haven't really been revving. This thing can rev beyond, actually. That might be part of my problem. Actually, it doesn't rev far beyond. 35.0. We're still like 2 seconds off. You know, so us as our smaller series, planning series has good participation and join that. You know what? I guess I'm just gonna load the setup. I think everyone else is running one. Yeah, no rear wing. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna load it. No biggie. I might even just ask people if they want it kept that way. I don't know. I think I have setups for all the tracks anyway, so Mateo's gone off. This is where everyone's reset the default now, and I'm just cheating my way to a win. Oh, that 3 wide up ahead. Good to see old Simon back. Haven't seen him in a while. Obviously, yeah, this is a car that's very much setup dependent. Maybe seeing the first today. Alright. So yeah, I'll try and catch up with chat in a second. Sort of been playing catch up this whole live stream. Been desperately behind this whole time. Just racing. But I guess to address your point on piggybacking off another series, I definitely am not against working with other communities. And especially trying to maybe like cross-pollinate or whatever. But also, I definitely like to just be able to do... I'd like to be able to do my own thing, sort of deal. I have a kind of loose vision in my head of what I potentially want to see going forward. And the kind of options are kind of the options that I put in the thing. And it's like, joining onto somebody else might not let me have those options. Especially given that if I was joining onto them, it would be, you know, it'd likely be their thing. But I definitely would be down to partnering with people. But I even had like a crazy idea of just, you know, building my own platform from scratch. But that's definitely a much longer term idea. You know, ideally I just want to maintain the absolute basic, like, status quo to begin with, where it's like, you know, should we keep racing every week? Yes. Okay, let's keep racing every week. You know, not to reinvent... Oh, Mattia's gone off. Don't want to reinvent the wheel at the moment. Reinventing the wheel can come once we've got a kind of foundation laid down. I did put in some things for some changes, because, like, you know, if there's some, like, baseline changes people want made, they can make changes, you know? Yeah. We've got a great run here. I don't have Mattia's livery, whatever it is. I wonder if anybody's going to come in and ask me for my livery. Only for them to realize that I'm running a blank. It will have a livery next week. I just didn't have the time to put one together, so I've just made an empty placeholder for now. Made and signed it. Awesome. Thank you very much. Oh, big snapperoo. Trying to go to get numbers in the biggest hurdle, like your race spinners, great event, we just need more numbers. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But I'm hoping, given that these will kind of... Oh, Mart's losing it. He's all over the road. He's caught it up. Yeah, I guess on that point, you know, as I said, this will be more maintaining the status quo. So, essentially, I'll be trying to piggyback off, you know, the community we've built around these races. And that's why the forum exists, because I want to get the community involved and invested in what we're doing and where we're going. You know, I have... Some people have told me that, you know, they would be interested in taking part in the races. Especially if I sort of hosted them myself. So, obviously, you know, actions speak louder than words. People say things all the time, and I say things all the time, and I don't do them sometimes. But, you know, there is potential that we, you know, we could gain a few people from other places. My number one demand, more slow people. Well, maybe. But yeah, there's no immediate rush to get the form done either. I just obviously see a Michael's post about bookmarking. I am going to be barking about it a lot during the stream, but that's just to make people aware and put it on people's minds. Because obviously, yeah, if you put things off, I know I'm lethal at it. I forget. Partly why the form took so long to make. It's just like I couldn't really put my mind to it for a while. But yeah. This will probably be open, like the forum will probably stay open for 2-3 weeks, maybe even more, maybe even until we start. I don't know. As I said, my main goal is just to collect as much feedback as possible. You know, is this, you know, the main answers I want to get out of this is this worth doing, and how to go about doing it. Goes all over me, kind of squabble around in front of him a bit. Should have downshifted there, should have stayed in gear. Ugh. Tail might have me. As soon as he gets a good run down the straight. Oh, I think I pulled away a little bit there. Actually, never mind. No, you jumped real quickly. One of my form answers is basically reduce more, and it was basically should have stayed in fourth gear. Bugger. Born to dilly dally, forced to lock in every time. Yeah, in some regards, the grids were maybe a little too fast for their own good. I think that definitely hasn't helped us in more recent times on the cases where we have gotten newer people. Well, excuse me. And, you know, while I've personally loved the sort of you know, sense of competition and racing standards we've been able to have and camaraderie. You know, I understand, like, you know, I was there once. When I first started out in AC, I was awful. Absolutely awful. And just for sheer stubborn determination. And doing lots and lots of races. I've been able to get to where I am now. Which still isn't particularly amazing. Oh, Mateo's off. However, it is easy to recover in this car, so doesn't lose as much as he would in others. I'm starting to feel the setup is a little weaker, though, than some of what others have bought. So I will... It's definitely holding me back a little bit, I think. While I would like bigger grids as well, everyone would like bigger grids. One thing I will say is I don't want bigger grids if it means we lose driving standards. Like, I've seen it. It's one of the things that kind of swayed me away from some of the more popular platforms. Like, people tell me, oh, this platform is more popular, this platform is more popular, you should go here, you should try it out. And a lot of the time I go and look at the driving standards there, and it's just bad. And so, it's just like, you know, I'd rather stick to what I have, where I know the driving standards are going to be good, even if the grids might be a little thinner. I think stuff like Thermalito was a lot more accessible / fun, because there was... But there was only one split for Thermalito. There's only one server. But there were a lot more people. It was a much more packed grid, I guess. There were more groups of people. The thing is, though, as well, as much as I do like Thermalito, and the event that Dan puts on every year, and I definitely will be doing it again this year, driving standards can sometimes be a little questionable. I sausage. Can I join you this WRC? Oh, cool. But yeah, I mean, like last year, I was on for a really strong result, I think, in the TTRS group. And then I got involved in a really silly incident because somebody reversed back onto the racing line as I was coming along because they'd wrecked. No, but there's only, especially when you're doing like more of a series-based thing, it's like there's only so many oopsies you can get away with before like it kind of starts to become a bit of a piss take, right? Like, if you remember back in the A86 championship, we had those problematic back markers. Now, those back markers didn't mean anything wrong. They were just hapless and careless. And just not very good at the game. And, you know, it wasn't until one of them got protested, they realized, oh shit, like, you know, maybe we should actually try and clean up our act. Yeah, same in the Top Car, yeah. But I think it was definitely a lot more pronounced. Top Car, I think it was just that one guy in, like, the last couple of races. But in the A86, it was, like, 3 or 4 guys who were just an absolute menace to be on track with. She's an Argentinian driver shoes organization to get his trophy. Who are you, Felipe Massa? But yeah, Felipe Massa's name. Tip on tires, go for the hards. Because it'll be a 20-minute race, you can probably qualify on the softs. But from what I remember, the Fiesta, the soft tires won't last the full 20 minutes. So you want the hard tires. Because they will. I think they will still degrade, but they will last. The soft tires, they'll fall off a cliff before the end. And you want the more consistent all-around tire. And the hards are the way to go. I think there's even super softs on that thing, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't dare on the super softs. If the softs can't last the race, oof. But yeah, the softs might be decent in qualifying. The hards definitely what you want for all the races, though. But if you're at Riverside Shore, so yeah, definitely. There will be some corners that will put quite a lot of load on those tires, especially the final corner. And that sort of like early complex of like sneaky turns. That also will put quite a bit of load on the tires. If I remember correctly, back when we last raced the Fiesta, there was a guy who ran the softs in Silverstone. And he was a rocket at the start of the race. And then, like, second half of the race, he fell off completely. Trying to get us set up a few quick nudge. We used this track last time, so I'm pretty certain I have one. So I can send it over, yeah. I'll be honest, this series did come together kind of last moment, but these are all combinations I largely know, so I kind of just knew they'd work. Ooh. Brett made the All-Stars race, yeah. I was like, okay, this is like the final season, so what? Ideally, I want to pick things that, you know, were memorable. And it's like, I've kind of been wanting to revisit the Fiesta, but never really found a good time to do it. Like, the Fiesta, yeah, as Michael said, was an absolute hoot. Everybody loved it. But, like, I'd never really found the right time where I wanted to bring it back. But it's like, now it's the final season, bam, bringing it back. I did change up a couple of tracks, but most of the tracks I think is similar to the prior ones, yeah. I haven't bought that one back. That was Anglesey, the wet race. I haven't bought that one back. I think it's three American tracks. So, Riverside Short, Road Atlanta Short, and then Thermalito. Both of those are new. We didn't do those last time. Because last time it was all UK tracks. And then we do 3 UK tracks to end. So, Silverstone, Croft, and Brands Hatch. That's it. So, hi Adam. How's it going? But yeah. And yeah, obviously, yeah, the Estonia was the first ever series I did. So it was also kind of a no-brainer. It's a good car as well, good fun. And yeah, picked a bunch of tracks that I've raced this car on before. I remember being pretty decent, so sort of a little greatest hits collection for the finale. Is he building the water park? Fair enough. Keep going into 50th for that final corner. Change PC since last one, no skins. If you look on the SRS Discord, people have been posting them up. Their custom liveries. That is, I guess, where I could also bring up again my cheeky plan. Because my intention, I do want to have custom liveries for this final season, but I didn't have time to get any ready for this race. So what I've done is I created empty folders that I'm using for this race. So tonight I'm running with a blank car, but for the replays and the future races, they will be substituted with properly decked out cars. I'm not really sure how I want to do it. I obviously want to do something to sort of commemorate my time on the platform and the fun we've had, but yeah, that's something I'll think about over the coming days. But yeah, I just didn't have time to get anything properly ready. In time. In terms of like the priorities of things I needed to get done as well. Well, it looks like very close to Team Mart and Mateo at the end, but I think Mart held on. I think people are leaving, but where are you going to go after SRS No More? Great question, because oh, everyone left. Actually, that question was pointless. Whatever. Yeah, great question. So, if you check out the pinned comment in the chat, that'll take you to a form. And this form is basically how I'm going to decide whether or not we do continue, and if we do continue, where we're going to go and what we're going to do. So, it is anonymous. It will ask you to sign into Google, but that's just for like spam protection or whatnot. There are sections for comments as well if you want more detailed comments, and you can leave your name and whatnot, whatever. How will liveries be handled after SRS? Just ask for Steam ID and set up a folder name. It's most likely yes. But that's it's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it. I definitely would be willing to allow it, but obviously, yeah. People would need to give me their Steam IDs and that I could set things up with it. But yeah, so yeah, check the pin link in the top of the description and top of the chat, and that'll give you all of the information or not all the information, but it will send you to a form. You don't have to complete it now. There is quite a bit there. Oh yeah, Mateo went way off at the beginning. Oh, there's a bit of a touch there. I think Mark didn't see him. Oops. Yeah. And then he got stuck out on the grass. It's unfortunate. Pretty wide immediately, though. Ooh, a little bit of contact there where they lived. I don't have Mateo's livery, so unless he's either pulling the same trick or I just didn't get it. Oh, Simon being relentless on the outside there. Is he gonna? He jumps back a bit. Mark comes back at him. That's where I kind of get close up. He's gonna come up the inside. He's gonna send one. But yeah, the form will be open for the next couple of weeks, likely. But yeah, I want as much feedback as I can on it. Whether you do race, whether you did race, whether you don't race. I want to know. I want to hear from you. I want to know. Yeah, I sort of want to come up with the best solution possible that will be able to keep what we have and potentially give us room to grow as well. But if people don't want to continue, then I'm also perfectly fine to, be perfectly happy to honor that as well. We will just... Well, I don't know what we'll do then. Might went deep there. I'll have the tear back up the inside. But, oh, God. Nice to have my thing here. I need to open the window. Oh, not a bit of fresh air. Will there be more than just racing? So the form is specifically to do with the weekly racing. But it is funny you should mention that. Because I have been thinking... I've been thinking about doing more varied stuff. And how exactly? Oh, material and white there. Cameras for the WRC so far. Nice. Still a while to go for that as well. Once again, proving a popular choice. Should just run it every season, no, because then it would lose its magic. But yeah, no, I've been thinking on and off for ages about doing other stuff. But I was never sure if it would really work out compared to the sim racing content. Because, you know, what I'm interested in might not necessarily be what other people are interested in. And I mean, I also mean stuff beyond, like, casual racing games as well. This little tussle there between these two. We continue Gran Turismo 4 free Micro Machines playthrough when / Sega Rally. Gran Turismo 4? No. That was a one and done affair, I think. 3? I can maybe start playing 3 again. Micro Machines? I forgot that I never finished that, actually. And Sega Rally? Maybe not. I was waiting for the English translation back then, but seeing how the game plays out in the longer term, it didn't really seem... Well, I'd seen how the game played out in the longer term, and I wasn't really as interested in how it played out in the longer term. One game I think might be funny to do again, though, would be Hard Truck 2. Because I just love Hard Truck 2. I don't think people... I don't know if people really got Hard Truck 2 as much, but... Streamer, you know, forms you love, we hate. Yep. I mean, I would love to not spam people with forms, but honestly, they're just too useful. I understand how powerful of a tool they can be. You know, and when I do a lot of community-facing stuff, you kind of have to do them. At least I think. Evo's been updated recently. Multiplayer's been tested, hearing good feedback. I think I'm still gonna wait for a while on Evo. Definitely still a lot that I think needs to... I'd rather not spam did it 3 times in the last year or so. Yeah, but... Right? If I asked these questions individually, I'd be spamming you every day. I'd rather just collect it all up into one big lump and then just send it out once. But no, I think they are a very useful tool, so I do use them a lot. Was the setup locked? No. It was meant to be, but it wasn't. And yeah, it's a little oopsie there. But I don't know, if people want to keep it open, then I'm fine with keeping it open. But if people want it to be as it was set, then I can do that as well. I did ask at the end of the race, but obviously everyone had left by that point, so it was pointless. No, I kind of got to the end of qualifying, and I saw I was like 3 seconds off the pace, and I was like... I know I'm not like the quickest, but I'm not that slow. So that was why I asked. I wanted to make sure that, like, I hadn't just become so incredibly washed at driving this car that I was, like, genuinely 3 seconds off the pace. And, you know, I didn't want to load a setup if nobody else was and then just, like, run away and defeat everyone. Because this car is quite setup dependent. But I mean, yeah, if people want it to stay open, then it can stay open. I might just ask Enrique to change the text. But if people want it to be fixed, then I'll put it to fixed. That's why the car didn't feel as familiar as it should have? What do you mean by that? It's a rather peculiar statement. But also, yes, again, as we get more people in, as I see that view number go up, do please, at some point, check out the pinned comment. Yeah, no, I was just getting that sorted now, Stuart, don't worry. Don't you worry. It's right there. No, that's the wrong car. Actually. RL Fiesta. RL Ford Fiesta WRC. Oh, Mateo went off there. So I'm like just jumping between like 4 different things right now, so we're a bit all over the place. But yeah. Even if you're not going to do the form now, just like make a little note somewhere with it, or like open it in another tab or bookmark it or whatever. I just want people to know that it... Uh-oh. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but my whole screen went black. We're good though, we're good though. Yeah, I just want people to know about it, and there you go, I sent it. This is the exact setup I used last time we were here. At Riverside. But, yeah. So, I... Yes, the form. Yeah. Please, yeah, just make a note of it or somewhere. You could do it now if you want. You could do it later. I don't matter. Just over the next couple of weeks, I want to try and get as many people to do it as possible. Whether you race, whether you don't race. You know, whether you've never seen a stream on mine before or you've seen every single one. If you have any degree of interest in doing or in having a weekly race in Assetto Corsa, do check it out. We can flash out the absolute pedantic details at a later date, but this one is mainly trying to get down some of the core ideals. There are some more specifics in there, but really the main bits I care about are, you know, whether or not we should continue and where. If we should continue, if we should, then where. If where, then do we keep full status quo for now, or do we change some bits like date, time, format, and whatnot? So yeah, I just want that, because yeah, while this is the final season for SRS, and you know, I don't want this to. I want to continue. I want to keep going. I think I've got more steam left. I don't think anything else really happened in this race towards the end. They get pretty close between Mart and Matteo towards the end. But, let's see. Take a look at the results afterwards, because I have spent a lot of time waffling instead of watching the replay. I also want to get a little bit of practicing, because I haven't driven the Fiesta in a while. I did pick it, but I have done no practice. Combo is largely... Well, the tracks I've driven on before, so they're known quantities. Riverside. I want the short layout. Riverside. I am registered for this one, just to make sure. I am. We're good. Don't need to worry about that. But yes, where was I? I guess getting practice up for this. But yeah, I know you all hate the forms, but you are likely going to get more of them. Oh, this looks horrible without any livery. Let's load that bad boy. Yeah, hard tires. Oh, this looks awful. Actually, I'm gonna go copy some livery files across into this. As I said, I made blank. I've made blank livery folders because I do intend to make a livery. I just haven't had the time to do one. We'll just nab the Pirelli one I used last time. Actually, there's one from the other car that looked pretty nice. I can take that across. I forget which one that was. It's not normally on the... Yeah, this one. Okay. Not normally on this car. It's more meant for the... Actually, more meant for the gravel car. That's fine. They're the same model, basically, besides the suspension and wheels. So it maps perfectly fine onto this. See, there you go. That looks better. Doesn't look like a blurry mess on the inside. Oh, I forgot this car is loud. my ears, yeah. Is that better? I'm hoping that's better. Better for me. I don't know about you guys. I can click it down again. Okay. Well, this thing is pretty damn grippy. Didn't really intend to slide that, but that happened. But yeah, yeah, if you complain about this form, be ready for more. I just feel like the gear ratio is a little low. I don't know what options are available for it, though. Oh yeah, I don't think there's a lot of options, actually, so I think this might be the best we're getting. But, yeah, it's likely to be more as we go on. I will put up, as I said, I will get the companion video for it out tomorrow, I'm hoping. If not, some point later on in the week. To kind of talk about things a little bit more in a dedicated video. Also to try and hopefully get some more eyes on it, you know. Not everyone's going to be on the stream or and whatnot, so... Bros did have a server. Yeah, I've been... haven't had the time to do any practice until now. 124, damn. I got some catching up to do then if you're doing 124s. I just doing 126 there. Can't make this earring any longer, can I? No, I could only make it shorter. That's the longest it goes. Bugger. I think I'm largely okay with the setup, though. It's like going to be a pretty tough race, though. I'm getting a bit of a mist here. I'm at 96% grip though, so that could also be why. Partly. .9. Fuck, well, I'm slow then. That's what you guys are able to pull out. My best, according to the board there, my best is a 26.3. So, yeah, that's the extra damning thing. It's like, oh, I could, maybe it's using my own setup against me. Is the actual race server up? It was a bit early on the gun, I think. I was. Whew. Oh, there we go. Pretty good grid. Coming in for this. It's great to see. Yeah, I'll see you in there.
Skin upload failed. Your skin is larger than 10 megabytes.
Oh no. Doesn't matter. This isn't the actual skin I'm going to be using anyway, so it's fine. Right, let's actually... This is actually lock in. By the sound of things, I've got some time to gain. Don't want to be competitive here.
Skins are ready, press the restart button.
Okay, never mind. Quickly. Okay, quickly relog. Try again. I do want to see what people have cooked up. Even if my cooking isn't ready yet.
Skin upload failed. Your skin is larger than 10 megabytes.
I know.
Skins checked, nothing new, carry on.
I don't think the oversteering and getting is helping me. Washed for driving this car. Oh, excuse me. It's kind of funny that we're starting this season off with the finale of the original season. I did that because I wanted to include this track, and also I wanted the finale to be wanted a very... Well, I wanted Croft to be the finale. It just had to be. My last ever race on the platform. Had to be... Just had to be. The last 2 races in this season are probably, in the Fiesta, probably my favorite 2 tracks. Ooh. I mean, basically all of the tracks on this list are probably my favorite. I think the only oddball choice really is, like, Tsukuba. I haven't raced Tsukuba in a long-ass time, though, so I thought, why not? It could work in the... I think it'll work nicely in the Estonia anyways, so... Track limits and practicing qualifying through here are pretty tough. Oh, shouldn't have tapped out. Okay, qualifying time. Jim trying the super softs. I'm gonna go and do a base mark run on the hard tires on race fuel, and then we'll trim out the fuel and the tires, and then maybe go on the softs. I mainly just want to get a feel for what the race is gonna be like. We're gonna qualify. Are you even in the grid? In the race? I didn't see you on the list. Liar. I'm in the grandstand. Fair enough. Driving in my car right after an SRS race. A shame that I don't think I'll ever find a proper recreation of my car in AC. Like, there are recreations of it, but I don't... At least all of the ones I've tried, none really give the same... feeling. Yes, sir. Yeah, I do. It's currently being battered by our lovely British autumn weather. I guess autumn / early winter weather. I'm lost track of the seasons at this point. I think Mother Nature has too. Yeah, I've tried a bunch of mods for it, and none of them have really clicked with me as being like, this is a good representation of the car. I think that might also just be like a problem with AC in general. Like, I don't know if AC itself would even be capable of replicating such a car. Also, part of it might be my wheel as well, because, I don't get the true no power steering feeling with my belt-driven Logitech wheel. Well, not belt, sorry, gear-driven Logitech wheel. Well, I'm not too close to Rob. I don't really want to be this close. Fifth gear. Maybe I just have too high standards. I mean, you could maybe argue that, but I do think part of the problem is that what makes the car so special to drive, I think, is kind of rooted in the... in how it drives in real life. Like, but the fact that you're in it in real life, like, it feels a lot faster than it is, but because of the perspectives in sim racing, it's likely gonna feel quite slow. Because, well, it's not, I mean, on paper, it's not very quick. And you don't really get that same sensation in sim racing where it's like, because the car's so tiny, it feels like you're going a lot faster than you actually are. Let's see. I'm sick at the moment. That's good. Let's see, as I've said, with the wheel, like, I feel like I need a DD to get like a better feeling of the steering, because I don't think the Logitech can really compare to the big chunky non-power steering wheel that it comes with. But also, I don't think AC can really do it, because I think it kind of exposes the limitation in AC's tire modeling. Like, I've basically never really been able to break traction in the car, but I feel like in the AC ones I've driven, I have been able to. But I think that's more just down to how AC tires are. Mostly just given the same thing you do have to check out, I'm not liking cars everyone else seemed to. That's only in some cases, though. It's cars that just don't really appeal to my specific tastes. Is this going to be any quicker? I'm not sure. I can't remember how the early lap went. Whether that was any good or not. You can see how much tire I've eaten through already. Definitely not running these bad boys for the race. 24.8. That's how he put me up to 5th. Back down to 2nd. Oh, I've beaten this lap. I mean, I never hated the Baza mods. I'll make that distinction clear. I never hated the Baza mods. I will happily drive the Baza mods. I just think they're a little overrated. Because people talk about them being amazing, but I feel they're a little... I mean, maybe those cars are just that easy to drive in real life. I don't know. But I remember them feeling a little easier than they maybe should. If I did, I'd like to know. I don't think I ever have said that I hated them. I don't care about, yeah, super realism, but like, one thing I do like, which I know is definitely not for everyone, but I do like cars that you can really hustle. And that's something that I also don't really think AC provides much of due to its physics. Definitely something you get in more in like R-Factor 2, Lift for Speed, AMS2, and the likes. But yeah, cars that you can really hustle around and work pretty hard. You know, where you're controllably out of control, in a way. And like, I know that's not really for everyone, because like, it's hard. It's not easy to keep those cars on the road, but those cars, when you can keep them on the road, oh, they're so rewarding. And they're really fun, because it's kind of it's not a thing you ever really get to do much. They are a pretty unique breed of cars. But how you couldn't find a mod that this car isn't good enough for him. The problem is, well, it's like, I don't care about the realism, I care about the feeling. I want it to feel like the car does in real life. Yeah, give me the same kind of feeling. I don't know if sim racing can really, at least AC can really do that. Well, that's very close to the top. I'm a bit further down, so I got a make up in the race. Ford College bags full of this kind of cars. What do you mean Bizzarini is perfect for that? So is the Shelby. I think they're... I'd have to go back and drive them. But I would I feel like they maybe weren't as much as I maybe would have wanted. I don't know. It's been a while since I've driven the Baza packs. But I'm pretty certain I've never said I hated them, and if I did, I didn't mean it. But if I have, and you can find an example where I have, I would be interested to hear what I had to say. Is it feels part of realism / immersion? Yes. But it's also a much more subjective field. It's a much more subjective field. Like, everybody's feeling of a car can be different, right? Whereas, like, I don't care if the numbers are exact. You could have the numbers be off for all I care. As long as you can get the feeling across, though, then I think, at least for me, that's good enough. You know, if the car feels fun and vaguely believable, oh, the... I forgot about the arse. Never said you hated him. Okay, well, I try to also get ready for the race at the same time, so didn't like, hated, kind of the same thing. I mean, I guess hated is a bit stronger, but you know. And actually, if I look up a bit, actually, you did say, didn't you say you hated them? So. If I was to be pedantic, you literally did. Oh, Michael's gone really wide. Seems like this car is faring a lot better in the race than it did in the... I guess, but like... You know, there's the implication there that I said, that I said at some point in time. And whether I did or not is a different question. I'm pretty certain I didn't. At least, I can't think of when I would have. Arse. Oh, God, so much understeer for that corner. But, switch him for information or something. Oh, yes. Oh, he's gone really wide. I've gone kind of wide, too. Oh, he's gone up into the gravel. I don't know if I accidentally squeezed him out there. If I did, then I apologize, but I wasn't fully in control either. Still is right behind. Have to place down the question mark. Ugh. I don't know, yeah, it's been a while since I've touched any of the Baza packs, and I definitely haven't touched all of them, because I'm sure he's probably released more over time. So, I don't know. To get a accurate, up-to-date feeling on them, then I would have to try them again, but I haven't really had any scenario where I would drive them again come up, so I just haven't. I don't even know if I have... I think I have some installed. I don't know. I was thinking we might have used them again for, I know, like, SCB, I remember last year for Nick's birthday, we did the Capri's at Thermalito, and that was pretty fun. I remember enjoying that, in AC. But I don't think he did anything this year, and if he did, it wasn't an AC or R-Factor 2, at least. Perfectly funny IRL real Caprice. I wish. If he did, I want whoever's my invite. And no, yeah, I don't know. I would have to drive them again, I think, to be able to give you an accurate thing, but because I mean, opinions change over time. I say a lot of bullshit on live stream. I typically mean it when I say it, but whether or not I mean it 6 months or years later, who knows? Earn a Capri buns. Well, I know somebody who does, though. Checkmate. I'm sure he'd be very willing to let me borrow it. Totally. Who's that? He was invited, you weren't? Damn. I don't know, I was not looking there. Lucky I switched back on at the right time. Oh, that's a lot of understeer. I did not go to plan. There are some mods I don't think I will revisit though, like the Cupra or the Super Touras, like the VRC Super Touras, that is. Basically, most front-wheel drive mods. There are a couple I'd still do, like the Alto, maybe the Trabant again. I almost thought we were doing the NASCAR layout. Bollocks. But like, you know, those like higher powered touring cars, nah. I never really liked those. Well, he's going for an absolute send. Ooh. Oh, bollocks. Well. Chinese super prototype car thingy, futuristic, whatever it was. Oh, what, the, like, Vento Uno? That wasn't a front-wheel drive. Unless you're meaning something else. The Vento was a weird car, but I didn't mind it. It was a weird car to drive because it looked like it had a lot more downforce than it actually did. I remember that was quite a handful, but I do remember enjoying that car. But it's one of those things where it's like, I think the Vento was definitely one of those things that I think I enjoyed more than the rest of people. That was definitely the case for the Euro NASCAR. I do kind of like the Euro NASCAR. It can be a bit of a stubborn car sometimes, but I do kind of like it. But I kind of get the impression that nobody else really. Which, you know, is fair. You run loads, so many championships with so many different cars, you're not going to get it right every time. And, you know, people aren't always going to agree on things. Some things I absolutely hate, other people love. Some things I love, people absolutely hate. Vento Uno versus Porsche 962C Championship. I don't think that'd be very fair. Because the Vento had, like, ridiculous, like, push to pass. Which actually, that wouldn't matter. Sorry. No, think about it. Because if you partner a car that has pushed the pass with one that doesn't, the car that has pushed the pass loses it. So actually, yeah, that wouldn't matter. I don't know if those would be comparable pace-wise, though. Or if we'd have to do some, like, fuck-ass BOP to get it to work. Oh, excuse me. Closing back up on this little group, though. Ooh. I don't know if we'll get back up to where we were previously, which I think was 5th. But, BOP, can the driver handle 962? I don't think... Okay, I guess it depends on which 962 are we talking about. The long tail or the short tail? Because I don't actually think the short... I don't actually think the short tail... is that hard to drive. You sure about that, or is it only for online racing? I mean, at least, I can't remember what I did the other day, but I remember doing something the other day where I had a car that had pushed to pass, and I put it in a mixed grid with cars that didn't, and I couldn't use it. So, unless that was on another sim, but I don't think it was. And Uno versus 917K. But a 917K would... The problem here is that I think the Vento would just be faster. The 962 would be closer, I think. Especially the short tail. I think the short tail could probably give it a run for the money. But it is a more modern car, so I think it would still be quicker. I mean, the Vento was a handful, but I do think it was pretty quick. I could be completely wrong on that, but it's been like years since we raced it. But, I mean, compare it, like, I think it definitely... Like, Group C also isn't that quick, all things considered. Because they are, you know, like 90s, 80s cars at the end of the day. They have their limitations, like weaker limitations than, say, like modern cars do. You put them against like an LMP1 car, for example, and an LMP1 car will smoke them. I'll pull the flunk edits about the 787B. You could put in... No amount of funk will make it faster. I don't really want to risk going for everything here. I need to get past Jim, though, if I want to make up ground. I definitely think I can get past these three. I just got to find the right moment to do it. Oh, not by doing that, that's for sure. That's going to put me back a couple of laps. Bollocks. No, it's fine, Stuart. It happens. I have to go back and look at the replay, but afterwards, but shit happens. I've no doubt done the same back to you at some point in the past. I've definitely done the same to other people in the past. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't let that slide. I've definitely done worse. Yeah, catch it back up. It's good, good. Still gotta find our way past, though. I'm running out of time to do it. He's gone very wide. I don't think it's gonna give me the run I need, though. There's just a couple of packs that I consider paid but peak, as in paid boards up. Paid is a risk. Oh, I spooked him into going deep, I think. I'll be honest, I don't really know what I was doing sticking my nose up there. But I did. Yeah, paid mods are cool. Like, I do like some paid mods that I have. But they are more risky, because it's like, oh hey, can you just like fork out a bit of money? I mean, some people might have them already. But, and I can definitely help people get them through fully legitimate means. Like, I mean, like, I would buy it on their behalf, sort of thing, before I get exposed for, like, pirating mods, even though, you know, they're always a bit of a risk, because, yeah, being like, oh, here's like an extra paywall. It does kind of limit you a bit. I know we have used Alabama a fair few times, but so like I'm not fully against using paid content, but you know, that was a track I knew a bunch of people had. You know, most of the regulars, if not all of the regulars, had. Because we had done a prior series, well, Slow Bros did a prior series where they gave it away. Definitely are hard some stuff though now. Everybody YouTube channel get express for sure. Yeah. Run off of there. Oh, Rob's gone deep. Oh god, I feel a little mean. I've basically forced both the slow brother to make a mistake. By sticking my nose in and then backing. I do feel a little scummy for doing that. I didn't mean to do that in both cases. I just thought I'd try and go for the opening that was there before realizing that, nah, actually this isn't gonna work. They both sort of overcompensate at the corner. Whereas that their intimidation stamina run. I just want to say, never liked that as like a... I've never really been a big fan of that as like a gameplay thing. Like I remember like there was a bunch of 2000s racing games that were like, whoa, you intimidate your opponents, and it's like, I don't like it when you can just like drive behind the person ahead for long enough and then they just crash. It's like, oh. A bunch? 3? I think there's more. I'd say there's at least 5. And it's a gimmick that a lot of people go, oh, wow, so cool. But, like, a lot of the time, I feel like it's just like, it's cool on paper, but in reality, it's just like, oh, guy just goes and crashes. Pad Rico spooking nice people around. I didn't mean to. I swear. Your Honor, I'm innocent. Please. Only manslaughter, not murder. I didn't intend to kill them. Our pirates will be getting more and more common the past year or so. Pretty much SRS is the only one that seems to be effectively going against free uploads. Yeah. I think like that's the thing, is like most mod creators don't really have the resources to fight it. I mean, even RSS, I'd say, I don't think they have the full resources to go and fight it, but they obviously have more than what other mod makers have. And I guess it's something they care more about than other mod makers, maybe. Oh no! God damn it. Game was so good apart from the flagship feature. There's Evolution GT, Squadra Corsa, Milestone, and... Karma! Why you say Karma? Oh, he's gone wide. Rob was the Fernando Alonso. I'll do it again! I think we will have another lap, so I might have a chance to catch him. Not going to get Henry though, so I think 7th is, unless he crashes, I think 7th is the best we're going to get. I royally staunched that braking though. I maybe could have gotten Henry. I don't even think we're going to get Rob, actually. I think Rob is quick enough that he'll be able to... I'll be able to catch him. I think he'll be able to hold me off. Unless I get an amazing run at some point and he makes a blunder. But I'm gonna give it my all. Try and catch up as much as I can. Not really how I wanted the first round to go, but... still been fun, nonetheless, and that's all that really matters. I mean, I qualified pretty poorly, so I'm surprised that I have been as competent in the races I have. There might just be some qualifying trick for this car that I'm missing or something, I don't know. At least paid mod groups are losing what make them unique, but URD, VRC, and RSS pushing up the same cars these days. Yeah, that's kind of what made me lose interest in them. Is they stopped putting out interesting cars and kind of just started reposting the same old stuff. It's like they're pushing out the like safe content, essentially, the content that they know will sell, they know people will buy. But like in a lot of regards, it's just not really interesting. They're not all that interesting or special. Honestly, I don't care about modern day paid cars. I care about modern GT cars. Much think RSS GT1 Peg commercial like etc. is peak. And the 2000s prototypes from VRC are also peak and were. 2000s prototypes are a death trip from VRC. I remember we did a season using the Panos. Oh, that was a handful. I actually won one of those races at Mosport. That was a good race. But I remember I was like scared shitless because I was like a sniff of the throttle too much and I'm like dead in this car. 0.02 liters of fuel left at the end. Damn. Let's take a look at some of these liveries, I guess. It's alright. It's gratitude. I'm missing Matthias again. I don't know if he didn't post them up, did he? I don't think he did. Corner so hard. A nice one from Matteo here. We skip over Matteo. He doesn't have one. Of course. The classic Rs. I forgot about that. I love those liveries. That's just the standard one. Standard. Of course, you got Jim's one with the thanks, Enrique. Mine is placeholder, and then Rob. Thank you as well. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'm running a placeholder livery because I need to. I did want to make one, but I didn't have the time, so this is a placeholder, and then I'll replace it with what it's actually going to be. Also, I'm not a fan of whole force on app for mod cars, RSS, and VRC and playing this anti-stored ignition features. Yeah. Did I lure you into the wall? My lines? I was afraid you were going to touch me, so I braked even later than I usually did. Oh, you mean when I crashed at the end? No, I just got it all wrong on the braking. I actually got a pretty good start. I caught Stuart here. Got me up. I also jumped Rob and Hanu. I think I was ahead of them already. I was maybe a little cautious through there, so I didn't realize I was as clear as I was. So I kind of slowed up. So yeah, oopsie there a little bit. And that sort of caused you two to get into each other. Yeah, a little crowded, yeah. But also, yeah, just, I guess, before we properly get into this replay, quick time again to announce that, or to check out the pinned comment in the chat. That'll take you to a form. If you have any interest at all in these races going forwards, beyond SRS, do check that out. Do fill it out. You don't have to fill it out now. You can bookmark it, save it for later, or whatever. I don't mind. It will be open for a couple of weeks. But I want to get as much feedback as possible, whether you're racing, whether you're not, whether you had raced. I don't care. I want you to do it. Yeah, I want as much feedback as possible, so you are at all interested in these things going forward, then do check that out. A little bit of a tussle between Mike and Phil up ahead. Go back a little bit. I will put out a video tomorrow or slightly later on in the week, talking about it a little bit more as well. Yeah. Oh, Mike went really. Oh yeah, way high. Oh, spooked Phil a little bit though. Went up the inside there. He got out into the sand. That helped me get through. Right up on his chuff. Then you got a bit wide. That'd be good. I was worried I might have accidentally crowded you off, but I didn't. You were way off. Did I hallucinate when Mateo uploaded a different skin? I was thinking the same, actually. I was thinking the same. I didn't question it, though. Maybe this is what the server has, and it's overridden. I don't know if the server saves the liveries. I did that the first 3 laps. Pack of all 3 liveries. Is it? I'm guessing. Okay. So I'm guessing it's different than this one. The one I saw in the thumbnail was different, but I think it must have gotten overwritten. This is a little oops. Did have a couple of close laps, yeah. I can look at the front battle later, because we kind of split into 2 cells. We had this group back here. Oh, Michael again! No, no. Did it again. Oh, big old stack up here though. So I think, where was the lap where it all went a bit next lap after this one? No draft. Yeah, he didn't get much of a draft. He got a little bit of a draft, actually. I think I got a slipstream on a couple of people. But yeah, not a lot of free gearing to give. I think it goes wrong. No. I might have also just had better gearing, I don't know. 3 on the podium, a close little race. Yeah, they were pretty damn close. As I said, we'll check them out afterwards, because they definitely had their own sort of race. Slow bros fighting each other here. Was Jim ahead? No, he wasn't. He was trying to be ahead, though. Didn't quite work out. Still went for a bit of a late dive here, but oh, would have made it, but I think he got a little loose over the crest. It's a dastardly corner, that one. Very easy to get the braking wrong because you get really light over here. I think he kind of just lost the car a bit. Otherwise, you likely both would have made it. And that sort of scattered the field mud. It wasn't intentional, so it's fine. Unless it was, then... Using my own setup literally against me. Why didn't you shift like Lightning McQueen badge trimmer? I mean, I think when you lost it, there was nothing you could have done, really. That's definitely what it looked like. You got over the crest and the car kind of broke away. I don't think there was anything you really could have done. As I found out later when I binned it. Once the car kind of breaks away from you, it's not necessarily the easiest to bring under control again. Put up to these guys. They were all pretty close for the whole thing until I got involved and spread them out a bit more. Just pulling a train, welcome. I tried to get a good run out of here, but it didn't really work out. Actually got a kind of decent run down the straight. I think I might have had the bit of a longer gearing though. I don't know. Seemed like Jim's maybe hitting some kind of limit. I don't know, he's getting up to speed, I don't know. Hard to say because we were basically on the limiter, or nearly at the limiter. Yeah, I nearly died here. I just got on the brakes and it locked the rear axle. Yeah, it completely threw me off. Caught up surprisingly quickly though. Jim must have had a moment as someone to race a couple laps for that Cornus's rips. I'll be honest, I don't even know. I just automatically took that inside line. The door was there. But then by the time I realized, I was like, actually, I don't think this is going to work. But I think I'd given Jim enough of a spook that, oops. And then, we skimmed forward a lap. And, I definitely didn't do the same thing to Rob. I had a great slipstream out of here, and I thought, oh, maybe I could try it around the outside here. I should have stayed tighter, I think. Maybe it would have worked better. But I then backed out here. I was like, nah, this isn't going to work. And off he goes. That's what I tried to do. Didn't work. So yeah, I get the slow process. Wasn't intending to, but this is kind of how it worked out. And then as I was trying to catch Hanu, I fucking absolutely bottled it. I think it's coming up here. Again, I just locked the rear axle, and it's gone. Luckily, I was able to quickly rejoin back behind Rob, but I wasn't able to catch him. Yeah, the rear end lifted up quite a bit here. It just gets here. You see there, it just locks. That little lock was enough to just spit me into the barriers. So he said a little bit of a fight though, I think, at some point. Oh. That was me. Alright, go back. Might adjust the brake bias for the next race. Yeah, I might fiddle around with the setup a bit too. I can't remember how much I did on the setup throughout each of the races, so... Oh, Jim got up in the wall here. Oh, that's unlucky. Yeah. He got stuck in the wall. Whoop, there you go. And that cost him a lot of time. That's unlucky. Take a look at this front group though. Should have better than what Jim did yesterday. Got past Mateo pretty easily. Yesterday's race was chaos. There's definitely a lot harder car to drive, and the full layout with the extra complexities. But yeah, Jim did. He entered another round last night. Got to pull this straight near the end of the race with Tyrion. I'm in the top now, okay. We shall see. Oh, Mattia, big sideways there. There's a racing driver there for sure. 3 laps to go. Okay, well, big slide. Could just see in the distance. He got there with the binoculars on. Ah, yes, I see. Guessing it was like that for pretty much the whole race then. Three laps to go, so I'm guessing probably around about here. Maybe. I'm speculating. Yeah, you were getting very sideways through that corner a lot of the time. Okay, not this lap. Right, this lap. He's even closer. Ooh, very close. He like lane changed there as if he maybe thought he could get there. Will there be a practice server for the next race? Can't pass you if I'm sideways. That's a good point. Yeah, the Slowbros have been providing practice services as they usually do. Alright. I think at the moment it'll be for their series on Monday. But, oh, he goes for the dive here, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. That didn't work out for him. But after Monday, to Monday and Tuesday, it will be up for mine, I think. Or for the Fiesta, at least. Easy to avoid spinning on corner entry by downshifting at high RPM. Yeah, he saw that window and he took it, but... Was the window ever truly there? I'm not sure. I guess he had to try something if he was going to win, but... well, as we definitely saw, that wasn't it. It's a rallycross car, I have to make the window. Well, this is actually just a full-blown rally car, but yeah, it's close enough. I think rallycross cars actually have more power. This only has about 300. I think the modern day, like, rallycross supercars have like 600. I'm trying to be ahead of the Apex so he doesn't get the penalty. For real? Yeah, I'll be ahead of the Apex. Fuck you. They'll still give him a penalty anyways, because modern Formula 1 penalties, they just give them out as and when they feel like them, it seems. Like them turning back Sainz's penalty after like nearly 2 weeks. Stupid. Let me quickly get up the results. Get up the results of both races. Real quick, because we didn't go through the results for the Estonia. Again, don't forget, there is the pinned chat message at the top in the form. I'm going to keep reminding you throughout this live stream until you're sick of me saying it. But if you want me to stop yattering about it, then go and do it. But yeah, no, as I said earlier, as I said again, if you have any interest in us continuing doing this beyond SimRacing System, please do take a look. If not today, then, you know, put a bookmark somewhere. It will be up for at least a couple of weeks. Jokes on you, mute stream. I'll just post about it on Discord. I will make a post on the Discord server with it afterwards as well. And I will make that video tomorrow. And I'll likely make more. I'll talk about it next week and the week after. No, I'm kidding. It will be an ongoing conversation, though. But Yes, results. Ta-da! Yep, so Simon took the win in the Estonias. Pretty hefty lead. With Mart in second, Matteo in third, myself in fourth, Mattia in fifth, and Phil in sixth. I actually didn't notice that Mattia dropped back quite a lot. Took the lead and then fell down. Did I miss something? I don't remember. I think at the beginning we were all pretty close, and then I think it spread out. Oh, you were on fixed setup. Okay. I guess that is another quick question. I think most of the people are here. Do you guys want it to be fixed, or we just leave it open? I'm not fussed either way, but seeing that people did run a setup, I mean, I guess people didn't realize, but if people think the car is a lot better and they're willing to put up extra setups, then we can do it. I mean, 42 for fixed setup is pretty damn good. Ready, did it open side like fixed? Fair enough. Because yeah, I do feel like this is a car it really does matter. But only if it's a good one. Ooh. Well, it'd be the default. I don't think the default's that bad. It's maybe a little more... It has a little too much wing. Well, if I say about it, Enrico will probably be like, oh, give me the default. And I guess I could just lump some of the wing out of it. Edit, yes. So it was decent, not just default. I think that's exactly what I wrote in the form, right? What are the options? Good. You're learning. Default drive sign just misses a gear, yeah. I don't know, yeah. I'll see what he says. If he asks me for one, I might make some little subtle tweaks to the default just to make it a little better. Because it did felt draggier than I thought it was gonna be. But it won't be anything revolutionary. It might just be like slightly shortened gear or slightly tweaked gearing and slightly less rear wing. That'll be it. I think that's all that car really needs. You could do like minute stuff, but it doesn't change as much. But it's mainly the gearing and the downforce that really transforms that car. More drag equals more suck. Yeah, I don't think I'd take it out completely, but I did feel like it was maybe a little high for Poznan at least. When I was doing it in qualifying, the flat out corners I was scrubbing off quite a bit of speed. So I don't know. Sorry for money until next week. Yeah, let's do it. See your account. But yeah, I guess before we forget, going through the Fiesta results. Mattia took the win over Simon, then Matteo, Michael, Phil, Hanu, Rob, myself, Stuart, and Jim. Bit more of an eventful race, this one, with a bit more jumbling around positions. Especially in the midfield. Top three was a little bit more of a done deal, but they were still very close all the way through. In the midfield, though, we were jumping around all over the place. Next week... Because obviously no point going through the championship because they're the exact same at the moment. But next week, Monday, will be at Imola. That should be pretty fun. The Estonia will be at Donington National Classic. And the Fiesta will be at Road Atlanta Short, which should be interesting. I'm hoping that should suit the car pretty well. And we'll be kind of similar to this one, really. A lot of up and downs, some twisties, a bit of speed. I thought the full course would be a bit too much, though. because there's not a lot of gear on the Fiesta, and you can't get a lot more out of it. So tried to avoid tracks with too long of big straightaways. I did pick the full Thermalito layout, but I think the straights at Thermalito should be okay. I hope. We'll find out. This is where... Because I think DDF is working on an update for Thermalito, and it will fuck... it will fuck everything up if he releases that just before we do the race, but oh well. I didn't think about that. But yeah, 5 more weeks to go, and we then close out this chapter. Hopefully, it's not the last chapter. I definitely don't want it to be, but the ball is in your hands, or in your court at the moment. So, yeah, yeah, it's been a really weird feeling, since we kind of came to the decision, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's like kind of new. It's something I knew was gonna. We all knew it was gonna happen eventually, right? But it's like, now the fact that it's actually kind of happening, it's just like... and one thing, like, I kind of always knew it was gonna be a thing, but I never really thought about it back then, was like, you know, if I did break away and did my own thing, that, like, you know, that would likely have been it back then as well. Yeah, it does feel a little weird now, knowing that this is, like, actually it. It's a shame, but I think it was definitely about time. We maybe dragged it on a little bit longer than we should have, if we're completely honest. But credit to Enrique, you know. He was willing to keep it up as long as we were willing to keep giving him stuff to put up, and didn't ask us for anything in return. You know, ran this completely for free. He was trying to get to 10 years. I don't know if he was necessarily trying that. I think for the past few months, it really has been like it was going to come down to us, essentially. I mean, maybe he would have gotten fed up eventually. Maybe after 10 years, he would have gotten fed up and been like, no, fuck you guys. I'm killing this off. But its existence has kind of been in our hands for the past few months. He's largely just been kind of keeping the lights on for us to keep doing what we do. And yeah, it did start back in 2016. Yeah, it's been going for a while. And I mean, as he put up, I guess I can quickly bring this up. I need to bring it across to the other window. Sorry, I'm fumbling around here. He made a pretty nice post. Will this show it? Nope, that's the window. Okay. So of course, here we go. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, he made this little post. I don't know if you've seen it on the forums. For a free service like this, 9 is a milestone, yeah. And I mean, the numbers here, He said, I'll start by quoting a philosopher by saying it's not the destination, it's the journey, and what a journey it has been. 1,050 championships held, 64,500 races, 29,151 drivers, using multiple sims, AC, Race Sim, AMS 1 and 2, R Factor 2, NR 2003, Project Cars 2, and ACC. We proved that it is indeed possible to provide a free, fair, and competitive platform for sim racers working 24/7, 365 days a year. I want to express my gratitude to each and every user, streamer, and partner that's been with us throughout the years. All I can say, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the farewell series from Donnie, Plank, Slow Bros, and myself. And I mean, yeah, it's like kind of crazy that, like, of course I guess we maybe nowadays know it somewhat differently, but like it's kind of crazy to think that at one point for a while, SRS was essentially the closest thing you could get to iRacing if you didn't want to pay for iRacing. And the fact that, like, you know, that was something that, you know, he was able to achieve pretty largely on his own, with obviously the help of other content creators and partners and stuff here and there. But, you know, a small community effort being able to achieve more than what any of the Sims were able to achieve at that point in time, and still even to this day. It's only recently that Sims have really realized that, like, other Sims, like, have realized that, like, oh, maybe we should actually do this ourselves. Like, they kind of just let iRacing have the whole pie to itself for many years, and SRS had been the place that kind of was the only place to really go beyond that. But yeah, obviously, yeah, as time went on, in more recent times, things like WSS, LFM, they're newer, they're shinier. They also had the big backing from the big content creators. So I think, because thing, when I started getting into SRS, it was definitely towards the tail end of the pandemic in like 2021. I've had my account since 2018, I think, but I didn't actually start properly racing on it until like 2021. And yeah, even then it was like basically all of the big content creators had moved off the platform and were, I guess, just doing iRacing and other stuff. And I think, yeah, audiences kind of changed a lot during that time, with especially the huge boom from the COVID era. And so I think, yeah, WSS and LFM were able to capitalize on that, with also, you know, newer and shinier systems to take its spot. And yeah, it's kind of, why is he closing SRS? It's just simple. You know, it's, I mean, you've seen the grids, you've seen people have been slowly leaving throughout the years. It has been slowly winding down throughout these years. It's been no secret throughout the past, like, year or so. I guess the SRS has definitely kind of been in its, like, twilight era. But, you know, we kept sticking with it. We kept doing races. Because, you know, we enjoyed it, and the platform gave us, you know, Enrique gave us the platform to be able to do all this stuff, keep going. Yeah, I mean, it became clear in more recent times as well, especially to us on the hosting side, that, like, Enrique didn't really have the time anymore to really dedicate to the platform. Like, a lot of people, some people have, like, criticized him, being like, you know, or like, you know, why hasn't he updated it to kept with the times and been more modern? But, like, you know, it's something he's provided on his own for free for many years. Obviously, life is going to take a bigger priority. And there's only so much you can do. So, I think it was inevitable. I mean, like you kind of mentioned, since you mentioned that Dufanado content creators just moved on, and for years talked about SRS like it didn't exist. Exactly, yeah. Meanwhile, promote another service when it's just a cycle. Yeah, exactly. It will just be a cycle. Content creators will promote whatever they're promoting, and they'll stick with it until they lose interest and move on. And then something new and shiny will come along, and they'll get the content creators in. The content creators will stick around for a couple of months and move on, and then that cycle will just keep continuing. It's like, if you look at a lot of the content creators that signed up to SimRacing GP, I think a lot of those have left now. Also, WSS is not doing very well. There's big participation in endurance races, and that happens every few months. In communities, the whole races get 20 max people per race. I mean, I'd say 20 max is pretty good still. Obviously not like multi-split and like fully filled grid numbers, but I'd say 20 people a week is still very good, especially for more dedicated communities. Do I agree with his policy on rip mods? I kind of do, yeah. Honestly. I think in some ways it might have been a little stringent. I'm not wholly against ripped mods, but I fully agree with the stance. You know, like mods that have been converted without approval, and especially ones that are just ripped from other games without permission from the original creators in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it is effectively just piracy. And, you know, obviously, the PC users, myself included, you know, we've all done a little bit of sailing the seas at some point in time, but, to varying degrees, but, I think especially if you want to be like a public platform, I feel like it's the right stance to hold. Do not agree with his take on fictional sex. I didn't really agree with it either. I didn't mind it because there were so many good real tracks, but in more recent times, he has allowed that to be the case. One thing I will say with fictional tracks is that maybe he did that to avoid all the grade 1 slop that was coming out at one point in time, I don't know. Or he just thought that, like, wanted to keep it authentic, I don't know. Because I remember there was that one point in time where I was like, oh, fictional track. What interesting idea have they done? Oh, it's a grade 1 track. Cool. I don't care. Somebody's just made their own Tilkadrome. There's enough fucking Tilkadromes out there. I don't care. But yeah, no, it definitely was a shame that they weren't allowed more. Because yeah, there are really cool fictional tracks out there. I mean, Thermalito is one of my favorite tracks in AC. I love it. DDF really cooked up a masterpiece of that one. And we do have it in this final season. But yeah, like, you know. And there are a bunch of others as well that I think are pretty neat. Yeah, that I definitely don't agree with. I don't care if content is... I know some people do get very uppity about, like, fictional or non-licensed content. It's not real sim racing. Or whatever. I don't know what his official stance was, or a reasoning why for that was, but I don't know. But yeah, I've always agreed, and I do think going forward with my own I've kind of mentioned this. I mentioned this to Adam a little bit the other day. I think, you know, going forward on with my own in a more independent capacity, I think I would, even if not a more independent capacity, I would like to kind of maintain my own mod list. Like not like kind of like what we have in SRS, right? You got the big page of all the mods. Kind of something like that, but actually like keep track of what content isn't good, and maybe collect community feedback. But that'd be something that like I'd slowly build out over time, because like there are some tracks on SRS and some cars on SRS that we've used over the years that, sure, while they fit the bill, the quality, well, not so much. You know, I mean, I don't think I ever raced on it, but I had heard there was a Suzuka mod that was there, and that Suzuka mod was like really low quality, but it wasn't ripped, so it was okay to use. But it's like we never touched it, even though it was there. Because, well, it wasn't good quality. And I mean, I've thrown a couple of tracks in here and there that have been bits of a dud, really. So like, I would want to weed out content that's not really up to snuff or not really enjoyable. Predominantly not enjoyable. If it's slightly lower quality, I can live with it if it's enjoyable. Like, Lebanon is cool, but Lebanon is, like, hilariously unfinished. You know, some of the trees don't even have, like, alpha on their textures, so they just have, like, a white background. Which is, it's funny to see, but it's just, like, it's kind of a shame. It's like, dang, I would like the track to be more complete, because it is a fun track. I've always dreamed of a GT ride with Deep Forest, Trial Mountain, Grand Valley, and so on. There's quite a few tracks from GT. Yeah, there is a group of people, I think, who have been remaking the Gran Turismo tracks for Assetto Corsa. I remember a few seasons ago, I tried to run Grindelwald, and for whatever reason, the server broke when we did that. So that was kind of annoying, because that's a cool track. I do quite like that. But we never actually got to race it on the platform because the server ate shit that day. And but yeah, no, I would definitely be down to have, like, if there's like good recreations of some of the AC tracks Gran Turismo tracks for AC. I definitely would be down to include them. Because, I mean, yeah, some of those tracks are pretty damn cool, like Trial Mountain, Grand Valley, Grindelwald, and more. Deep Forest, yeah. And the likes. So there's a lot of iconic tracks in the series, fictional tracks that, you know, we could use from a track session in the form of El Capitan. Is it actually like a proper version of El Capitan, or is it just like a Gran Turismo like 5 or 6 rip? Oh. Just taking a quick peek at the form whilst we're here. 5 responses so far, so thanks everyone. Again, no pressure to do it now if you don't want to. It will be up for a couple of weeks, but I do heavily implore that you do make a reminder if you're not going to do it immediately, and I will be pestering. See, as I said, I want as much feedback as possible, because this will be the main metrics that I will be using to tell me as to whether or not it's feasible to continue. Why not jump in voice and continue for gathering there? I mean, I can jump in the Discord after this. But, you know, not everyone's going to want to join the voice chat sort of thing, so, like, but I will put up a post on the Discord as well, and as I said, I will get the video out tomorrow or Thursday, talking about it a bit more. This major format says thank you very much. But yeah, it is editable as well. I will make that point out as well. So if you do think a bit later down the line, actually, I want to change one of my answers, you can go back and edit it. Let me double check. I did actually set that, right? I did. Okay, yeah. So, I'll take a quick skim through now, actually. We'll see. Okay, well. Do we want weekly races to continue? I feel like that was a bit self-explanatory. But, I needed to make sure that if everybody was gonna say no, then I needed to know. Oh, we just got another response in right as I'm looking at it. Grindelwald was one track I think you had in one series of GT track. Yeah, as I said earlier, yeah, we had Grindelwald in, but the server ate shit before we could do that race, so we never actually got to do it, which was kind of gutting. Because I do like that track. I have raced it in other groups before. Taking a skim through some of the current form results. Good to see that got a couple of responses from people who aren't in the current active racing pool. That's good. Responding form one, never racing responding. Exactly. Yes. If anyone has any, as I said, if literally no matter who you are, you could literally be watching for the first time ever. I mean, I know you're obviously not, but like if there is someone lurking in the shadows, you know, and you have any interest in like weekly racing, like it will be in AC for the foreseeable future, but maybe if something crazy happens, we can choose to switch sims and whatnot. It's always an option. Then yeah, do make a note to do the form. Looks like people are leaning towards either entirely self-hosting or WSS. Just Race not very popular. I guess that makes sense. I mean, Just Race isn't very popular in general. I thought having Just Race could be a convenient sort of front end for the server. But I guess if not many people are using it, then I wouldn't bother. Pretty split on using a provider. Okay. Private registration. So basically, it does seem like people are pretty fine with using the current status quo. Actually, how much is a WSS premium account? I've actually never looked at the pricing. I know it costs money. Never really looked at how much. I don't know if anybody here knows. I'd assume it's not an incredible amount of running, right? Because otherwise nobody would do it. €7 a month? That's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, it's like, I'm fully willing to cough up a bit of money. If it means we can keep going, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, as I said, one of the as one of the options is literally like, yeah, I'll pay for like a VPS to literally, if that means we'd get a better result. As the middle tier, 4.5 years a week, and upload deliveries, more infos, and host some quick races. Okay, it's good to know. Ooh, on the fixed setups, yes, but only if the setup is decent. No global yes answers. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I guess I'm also not surprised because I mean, maybe I could have worded that question a bit better. So obviously, I'm not going to choose a car that sucks to drive. Are there only 2 people in the race? And even the people paying for it don't participate, don't really understand why put up the race at all in WSS, that is. Yeah, that's silly. Right? Like, the main reason I am... But one of the big to be like fully honest, like the only reason, or like the biggest reason as to why I want to continue these races is because I want to continue. I want to do these live streams. I want to race on a Tuesday, and maybe not even necessarily on Tuesday, but I still want to do this, right? Like if I didn't want to do this, I'd just be like, meh, whatever, I quit. But you know, this continuing on is born out of my selfish want to keep doing it. But obviously I know that the community, you know, has to come along with me, otherwise it'd be pointless. But like, yeah, like if I was gonna pay for something especially, like I would definitely make sure to be there. Unless I had a good reason not to be, like, you know, when I've missed SRS races in the past. I usually have a decent reason to miss them. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I wanna do this, but I wanna still be an active and engaged member in everything that we do. And that's the main reason I'm doing it. I mean, if eventually it reached a point where there was good traction, but I couldn't really do it anymore, then I'd likely still be willing to kind of do like what Enrique did and just kind of run it, even though he's not really an active participant. But yeah, that would be a bridge we'd cross when we come to it, sort of thing. Yeah, with the primary community hub, I guess, yeah, most people have said Discord server, which makes sense. The only thing I don't like with Discord servers is that they're not very discoverable. And while I think it's convenient and can work nicely for like the community hub, it's like, yeah, especially if I'm self-hosting the races, like the live stream will be the main gateway into pulling people in, rather than the Discord server. But also, yes, like, there's no point setting up a forum if it's going to be fucking dead. How many races should we do in the season? Oh, 50. Well, not really 50-50. But interesting to see that most people think 6. A couple of who want little changes. So SimGrid could be an option for hosting events. Only used to race on ACC side UK. It works for hosting. I kind of keep forgetting SimGrid is even a thing, to be honest. Oh wow, that's a very interesting one. How future content should be decided by the organizers. Outright, well, 5-1 on community voting. I think if people maybe wouldn't be interested in the random ones, but I thought that I'd throw them in for a bit of chaos. But it is interesting, because I've been thinking about trying to get the community more involved into choosing, and, you know, if we do go independent, the community will have more of a say. You know, I do want to push for that more still. It didn't happen a lot of time in SRS, because, to be honest, these recent seasons especially, I did them kind of last minute. Yeah, you do the work, then we whine about it. Oh, it's just changed, actually, now that I go back and look at it. Somebody changed their response. Yeah, like, nothing on this is final. Things are changed, like... But this is just kind of to build up a basic idea. Oh, we got a lot of suggestions. Anything but GT3. I mean, I can only agree with that. Really enjoy the oddball cars that aren't easy to drive. I mean, I absolutely... I hate the base AC GT3s. Maybe hate's a bit of a strong one. I don't like them, though. Right? Like, I can race them on occasion. I don't really like doing it. They're in, like, a really awkward, like, setup window that I just don't really gel with. I don't mind other GT classes, like the GTEs. I like the Corvette, say, and the Porsche. And I guess the 458 GT2, that's also pretty nice. I haven't really driven the BMW much, so I can't really say much on that. But I do like the GT cars. Annoyingly, they're not... The GTE, GT2 cars are not BOP'd at all to each other. The Porsche wipes the floor of the Corvette and the Ferrari. Ferrari makes sense because it's older, but the Corvette and the Porsche would have at least raced against each other. But they're not really bopped. So '30s Indianapolis. We have used '30s Indianapolis before, actually. That was a bit of a doozy. But yeah, I mean, it's looking at this early outlet. These early projections seems good. Yeah, do keep yeah, an eye out, of course, over these next 6 weeks. We're gonna be ramping things up. Gonna be trying to get this into something that, you know, is actually workable. I do have a Discord server already. That we will likely be cannibalizing, or mothballing, I guess. Cannibalizing is the wrong word. Kind of mothballing into predominantly being focused around this. It already had a pretty mainly used for their SRS stuff and occasional other little bits, like my special events and stuff. which I will be trying to bring those back as well. And those will, I guess, maybe be a bit... Those might be a bit easier to run, actually, because the community will then be more integrated into me rather than a different platform. I don't know. We'll see on that one. I like having the option to pick a worse car. Yeah, I do like... I do like series where there are... where we can have car variety, right? I like... especially when there's, like, meaningful differences in the cars. I like when we can have that. You know, and even when it's not, like, meaningful differences, even just being able to have, like, a car that looks and feels a little different is, you know, better. Is a bit better than having everyone in the same car. The only problem is a lot of the time, BOP is, not really thought about much. And, so, like, you then have to, you oftentimes have to end up spending more time than it's really worth to actually BOP everything. But I do think one thing that would be, that I think definitely will be a benefit of having more direct involvement with running things. I don't know how it would work on, say, something like WSS or the likes. I'd assume I could go in and edit details whilst the season is running. I mean, people with more experience can confirm or deny that for me. But, like, especially if self-hosted, right? I just make the server every week. So it's like, if we decide that things aren't quite right, we can be more proactive and reactive to things, right? Where it's like, oh, the BOP's a little off, we can tweak it, or like, oh, this didn't quite work, then we can change it. Like, there's a lot of settings in the AC server stuff that I think would be pretty cool to play around with. We just never really, with the way SRS was set up, kind of limited on that. So, you know, being more independent will definitely open those options up more. Like, I mean, for example, could add a little bit more jeopardy into tire choices for some races, because you can actually ban tire compounds from being used. Like, if a car has multiple compounds, you can select which ones you do and don't want to allow. So it's like, you know, we can... You can play around with things a bit with that. We can also, obviously, like, I think in SRS you might have been able to force assist stuff, but I'm not sure. But, yeah, there are things we can play around with and try and add a bit more variety from race to race. Yeah, exactly. We were allowed more. Like, as things began to wind down on SRS and things became less populated and there were less series around, we were allowed to do more. We were given more freedoms. Because obviously, we didn't really have to worry about you know, getting in the way of other things, or like, there was less overhead as well on Enrique to get everything set up. You know, when there was a race going on every hour, you know, there was a lot more overhead on him to set up and maintain that. But I mean, at the moment when it's literally just, oh, he has to set up like 3 series and that's it. There's still overhead there on him, but it's a lot less. So it's, you know, we can have a little bit more flexibility. But there are some innate limitations that were kind of baked into the system that we could never really get around. I don't really know how the automation works in SRS, so I don't know. I don't necessarily know the complexities of it. If I was able to like take a look behind the scenes, I could tell you. But obviously, I don't think anybody's ever really gotten a look behind the curtain on his baby. That sounded kind of wrong saying it like that. But yeah, like there have been, I can't remember. I remember we had a couple ideas in the past, but they just weren't really feasible as per se. With just the way things were. Which, yeah, is something that we won't be beholden to anymore. At least I hope not. I ain't trying to figure out POP for cars. Yeah, I do too. POP fucking sucks. It's great when you get it right, but it's so easy to get wrong. I think the most work I did for BOP was for when we did the Formula Easter Ground Effect series, and all I did there was wait. I didn't even think about trying to do like the power. The like air restrictor stuff is like really wonky in AC, I feel, so I didn't bother with any of that. I just went and only focused on adding weight and trying to make the cars a bit more even that way. The cars are already relatively close, but they're just enough of a difference. But I do remember when we did the Formula 1 cars as well, the WRC 2007 Formula 1 cars. I think the Ferrari, we had to BOP the Ferrari, or I BOP the Ferrari with like an extra 25 kilos or whatever. Because it was a lot faster in the straights. But I think that might have been a little too much. I think another BOP that worked pretty well was the Corvette and Viper, actually. I think that one didn't work too badly. I can't remember, though. But I think the Viper might have been a bit better than the Corvette, so I think I added a couple of kilos to the Viper. Slow it down a little. But I've tried... I never touched the air restrictor, as I said, because like I've tried doing that before in other races, and it's... The way it works is inconsistent at best. I think I was doing like a race in LMP1s with like like my friends back in the day, and I think I set one of the cars to like 100% restrictor. It was like 100% restrictor, and it still was like wait. The car was still fast, and it was like, huh? So I limit tire choices for air, sadly doesn't work anymore. Is that it's easier to group cars based on the tires they have, which means Arsenal and TCR and GT cars I need to group as cup cars because they have a single set. Yeah, I guess you can group cars on tires, but I do think there are a lot more differences beyond the tires as well that you sort of have to consider. But yeah, balancing cars, fucking nightmare. Viper needed 180 kg? Really? That sounds like a lot. I don't remember how much I gave the Viper in the end, but I think it was only like... I don't think it was that. It was nowhere near over 100. I think it was only like 8 or something like that. I could be wrong. I know I excluded the Porsche from that championship because the Porsche was just way slower, and I was like, in order to BOP those to be competitive with the Porsche, I'd have to slow them down so much it wouldn't even be worth it. I do sometimes wish at BOP I could just make a car better. And maybe I can do that, you know, going forward. Like, I can make custom tweaked variants of at least base Kunos cars. And distribute those. I feel like those would be a bit more fine with being distributed. Making unofficial tweaks of other people's mods is maybe territory I wouldn't want to get into. But, maybe tweaking some of the Kunos cars, some of the grouped Kunos cars, making them a little closer, maybe, could be a possibility. But that's a bridge I'll cross when I come to it. Yeah, that makes sense. Even then, I still need to race test them. Yeah, that's the ultimate thing, right? Is that like, it's time no matter how well you cut it, working out BOP is time consuming. Because you have to keep racing, you have to keep lapping and racing the cars over and over again. I think that was probably, like, doing the Formula Easter Ground Effect series, I think that was probably the most prep I'd ever done for a series that I hosted. I spent, like, a day or two just, like, lapping those cars around different tracks and slightly tweaking the ballast to try and get them to a comparable lap time. A consistent comparable lap time, I should say. Like, I didn't spend a crazy amount of time, but it was way more like, I don't spend a lot of time setting up series, to be honest. Take about an hour or two at most, maybe. Like, most of the time is just ideating, but I kind of just do that whenever, wherever. Like, I could be at work and just be like, ooh, this idea could work. Because my brain just does whatever it wants when it wants. But, yeah, I usually just, like, throw some cards around, throw some checks around, and I'm like, that works. Get a feel for, like, what the car can do and whatnot. And then just, like, accept it. Did BOP for 7 cars. That was a lot of work. Yeah, I can imagine. Especially if those 7 cars are quite different. I definitely would not envy that. I'm going to set up a spy race with 20 plus cars, all of them are separate mods. Oh no. Yeah, that's the annoying thing, is when they're all, like, separate mods as well, but, like, similar cars. And it's like, oh, cool. I can race these together, right? Then you actually race them together and you're like, fuck. They're all, like, completely off in balance. And it's just like, no. It did feel like an actual race to even end there with me playing race control and handing up POP. Just hopefully you weren't replicating the ACO. These are bad, having to push every car to limit yourself online. Yeah, that's one thing that I always struggle with when testing for new seasons, actually. It's like me driving casually on my own and me driving in like online races. It's like a completely different ballpark. Like I can only really seem to properly like lock into driving when I'm doing like actual online races. And sometimes I can't even do that. But it's like pretty much every time, like there have been some series in the past. I mean, I think I've talked about this a few times before. Some series in the past where I've tested them on my own, you know, doing laps around some tracks, throwing them around a bit, having some fun with them, racing them with the AI maybe a little bit as well. And I'm like, yeah, this is good. And then it gets to like actually driving them in the series, and it's like I have to push them to just another level than what I was driving them when I was just casually practicing. When I was just like sort of driving them around tracks and stuff like that, you know, I was pushing. I always tend to push, but like when it's in an actual race, especially with like the standards in SRS, I just needed to hit another level. And for some cars and tracks that worked out. Other combinations though, I ended up really not. You know, I ended up liking them when I was doing them to not liking them when I actually did them in the race, and that was kind of an interesting thing to learn. It was like, yeah, like doing these races, you kind of have to be at a different level, and also like there are sometimes like people find tricks and stuff that you could never think of. I mean, the A86 Championship is probably the best example of that. While that's probably most remembered for the dodgy back markers, I remember testing that car, the 862, and I was like, you know, this car isn't too bad. I think we could have a fun championship with this. But I'll be honest, I didn't really enjoy that car in the championship. The level at which I needed to drive it at, and the setup that was needed to make it work... I mean, I think there was some trick that I never really figured out that other people did. And also I just wasn't really I didn't really enjoy driving that car, and it's much closer to its absolute limit rather than just to the kind of casual limit I was taking it to in solo. One that was still fun but did change quite a lot was the cross kart. When I raced the cross kart more casually, I was sliding that thing around everywhere, all the corners. I was having a blast sliding that thing around. But it's like when it came to actually like racing it in SRS, there was the quirk with like the window net for sure. That was one thing, but it was also like I couldn't slide as much anymore. I had to lock in. I had to wrestle the car into control, and it was a completely different way of driving. It was a completely different way of driving than what I was than what I had done previously with the car. And one thing, please, the love of God, don't you stand a chance if you're not on SRS races if you can. I mean, for now, I think I probably will, but I don't know. I know some people... I know the cut check penalties are kind of stupid, but I never really had an issue with the track limits in of themselves. Some checks do have some slightly dodgy track limits here and there, but never minded it so much. One thing I do need to figure out, though, given that you did mention about track limits, I need to figure out why Real Penalty was crashing, or why people with Real Penalty were crashing when they were trying to join my server. I'm not sure why that was happening. But I didn't get any logs from any of the people who were crashing. So I have like no information to go off. Russian Racing 86 race was fun when I played against AI because it wasn't on there, so this was ruined that one for me because of that. Yeah, that was kind of a shame. I kind of liked that track. And there's a couple other tracks I kind of liked as well that were in Russia. But obviously, Russia in the real world decided that it was gonna do some funny business and piss off the whole world. And I did a real penalty on in the Ferrari race. Ah. I have no idea why those people were crashing. That's the problem, is on my end, it just told me they were clean exits from the server. So it was definitely a crash on their end. But I without being able to see their logs, I have no idea what would have been causing it. I'm pissed at USA, so no more American tracks anymore too. I had thought about just saying fuck it and going back to some of those tracks, but at the same time I didn't think it'd be a very good look. Because while I definitely don't support what's going on, at the same time it's like, I don't know. It is just a track in a video game at the end of the day. I know obviously to some people it means more. But yeah, tricky world we live in. If only people could just get along. And we could just leave. Evil dictators could just leave other countries be. Sadly, it's not the world we live in. Yeah, if I had to cut American checks, I would be very sad. But given the way America's going, who knows? Yeah, separate art from the artist is definitely a minefield. But like, I think what makes this a little different is that this is a recreation, a virtual recreation of a track. But as far as I'm aware, probably, I don't know, maybe doesn't have anything to do, like, isn't directly owned by the Russian state. That's why I think it's a bit different, right? Because, like, I do think separate art from the artist is a little harder when the person who directly created said thing is a piece of shit. But if they happen to just live in a shithole and they created something cool in that shithole, then I don't think that should really go against them. You know. And that's where it gets more murky, I think. Like, like, yeah, like if I saw, like, say, like a YouTube video from a Russian guy, you know, as long as he's not a piece of shit, then I'd be like, okay, cool, this is fine, perfectly fine, you know. But like, yeah, because like you can exist in a place and not support what's going on. I mean, I definitely don't support some of the things that are going on in the government here, so but like, yeah, if like you are directly involved in being part of a problem, or you are just a piece of shit, then it's like, no. At that point I would be like, no, get fucked. Like, you know, if it's like, oh... Sometimes even then it is still hard, because it's like... It's like, some pieces of media that some people have created is genuinely, like, still really good. But then it's like, supporting that, you're kind of directly associating it with the person. Right? And so then it's like... That's where it gets harder. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I think in the case of, like, the tracks and stuff that have been made for AC, I personally... I know, obviously, everyone has their own different viewpoint, but I think, personally, they're fine. You know? They're made by someone who just wanted to make them, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I think, though, the Russian tracks were made by SMP themselves. So,